How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Round one of the 2026 NFL Draft has officially ended. The Cleveland Browns make their first two selections of the draft by taking offensive tackle from Utah, Spencer Fano, after trading out of the 6th pick with the Kansas City Chiefs, getting the 9th pick, a 3rd rounder, and a 5th round pick, dropping down 3 spots to take Spencer Fano with the 9th pick, and then staying put at 24 to get wide receiver from Texas A&M, KC Concepcion. Your two newest Cleveland Browns, Spencer Fano and KC Concepcion. You guys like it? You guys hate it? Let me know in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. I understand it's a late stream, but round one of the 2026 draft has ended, and there is a lot to get into today regarding the draft. We'll be making probably a video here in the live stream, or at least I'll make a couple videos talking about, giving my thoughts about the draft here. But I have to say, I really liked the first pick by the Cleveland Browns. I thought Andrew Berry absolutely cooked with his trade with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we're going to get into it here in just a second, basically what the thought process was with Andrew Berry and the Browns. But there was apparent discussion from the Cleveland Browns that they really wanted, or at least were deciding between choosing Caden Proctor or Spencer Fano with the 6th pick. This is according to Zach Jackson over at The Athletic. He's on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. You guys have probably seen him before. But according to Zach Jackson, the report was that the Browns were seriously considering between Spencer Fano and Caden Proctor at number 6. And then they decided to trade away the pick once Kansas City made an offer, basically giving them a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder for the 6th pick, moving down 3 spots. I think that was a fantastic trade by Andrew Berry. You trade down from 6 to 9. You only move 3 spots. You get 2 additional picks, including a 3rd rounder, which you can trade or move and get draft a good player in the 3rd round. And you also get a guy that you were already considering taking at number 6. It worked out very, very well. That's why I thought the 6th overall pick trade with Spencer Fano and the Kansas City Chiefs, awesome trade by Andrew Berry. Then you get to number 24 with KC Concepcion. Now, I said this at the beginning. I said this on my Twitter. You guys can go back and watch, or you guys can go and look on my Twitter. It's right down here at Warm Bench. I'm going to fix this because I did a short earlier today. But the 2 players that I did not want the Browns taking today were KC Concepcion and Caden Proctor. I did not want either one of those guys. Proctor, more so because I feel like he's just another DeJuan Jones. I think he's another guy that you need a lot of patience with and a lot of development with. That quote from Nick Saban that came out earlier today talking about how you may need to be on him with his weight scares me. He's athletic, he's big, I understand that. We already have that with DeJuan Jones, right? I don't need another one of DeJuan Jones. Spencer Fano to me was the great pick. Awesome pick. I'm glad we didn't choose that. I'm glad we didn't choose Proctor. KC Concepcion was the other guy that I did not like at all before this draft started. He's a good returner, has the numbers in college. Everybody's going to be in love with him. He's not a good receiver. He's just not right now. He's essentially Jerry Jeudy, but in slot form. He's Jerry Jeudy if he was a little bit shorter. That's who KC Concepcion is, and who can return. And again, you have to sort of ask yourself, or at least tell yourself, if you're the Cleveland Browns, was getting Casey Concepcion worth skipping over, Jordan Tyson or not even Jordan Tyson? Was it worth not picking Mekhi Lemon? The Browns could have gone up and got Mekhi Lemon. Apparently, there was reports from, I believe it was Ian Rappaport, who said that the Steelers were going to take Mekhi Lemon at 21, and then the Eagles moved up ahead of the Steelers to pick Mekhi Lemon. So Mekhi Lemon could have been a Steeler. The Eagles go up there and they get Mekhi Lemon. Suddenly, the Eagles have a great wide receiver core again. Awesome. But again, Casey Concepcion has a lot of drops issues. He's just not there all the way as a receiver. Again, at that point, I would have rather had Denzel Boston. You need a wide receiver one. Coming into this draft, you needed a wide receiver one. You needed a guy like a Carnell Tate or a Jordan Tyson, one of these guys, or a Mekhi Lemon, who could go out there and be a wide receiver one. You don't get that with Casey Concepcion. I don't understand what the enamoration was with Casey Concepcion. I understand he's short and fast. I just do not understand why you don't go up there and move 4 spots to try and get Mekhi Lemon. I think Mekhi Lemon would have been perfect for the Cleveland Browns right now. Jerry Jeudy on the outside, Isaiah Bond in the slot. Mekhi Lemon can kind of go in and out. But again, I have people who played against Mekhi Lemon. I know people who played against Mekhi Lemon who told me he is awesome. Was one of the hardest persons that they have ever faced, in their collegiate career. Mekhi Lemon was right there. The Browns already made a trade before. You mean to tell me you couldn't trade pick maybe 20? You couldn't trade 24 in like a third rounder or a fourth rounder to go get Mekhi Lemon? You couldn't go up 4 spots? Like, to me, you kind of have to be asking yourself that if you're the Cleveland Browns right now. If you're a Browns fan, are you going to be willing to say, hey, you know what? Mekhi Lemon, it is what it is. You know what? We'd rather have Casey Concepcion instead of Mekhi Lemon. That's where that's where I don't like the Casey Concepcion pick. Now, I hope he changes my mind. I hope as we get into the season and the training camp and, he gets into camp and he makes spectacular plays and he proves everybody wrong. He proves me wrong. But I do not like the Casey Concepcion pick. Not with Mekhi Lemon still being on the board as we got to pick 20. You're 4 spots you're 4 spots away. And if you had knowledge that the Steelers really wanted Mekhi Lemon, I would have done everything in my power if I was Andrew Berry to try and phone anybody up ahead of 21 to say, hey, we'll give you 24 and a 3rd round pick or 4th round pick if we can move up to go get Mekhi Lemon. But like I said, the Fano deal I thought was fantastic. Awesome pick. You get the guy that you wanted. You trade 3 spots down. You get 2 additional picks, a 3rd rounder and a 5th rounder. Awesome trade by Barry. Awesome pick. Casey Concepcion, you're going to have to sell me on. I just do not like not going after either Denzel Boston or just staying put when you could have gone after a guy like Mekhi Lemon, who is by far way better, in my opinion, than Casey Concepcion. But that's just me. Those are my initial thoughts. Let me read what you guys have in the chat. Thank you guys so much for coming out here on I understand it's a late work night, school night, whatever you guys got going on. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Yeet a Freak, Caden, what's going on, man? Good trade, got value from a guy they were going to pick anyway from this, talk about the Fano. Saw people complaining about the haul. I thought they had less leverage because a bunch of people thought we were trading back. I don't think that was a bad haul. I think it was great. You moved down 3 spots, you get it 2 additional picks. It was great. Real Rap 17, what's going on, man? Thank you for coming out. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. Parmesan, nice to see you, man. Yeah, the wide receiver pick was iffy at best. Yeah. Again, I am just not. You're going to have to sell me on Casey Concepcion. Now, I haven't seen the last 2 picks. I don't know if you guys can put it in the chat. I think Omar Cooper got taken by the Jets at 30, so that sucks. I don't know who the last 2 picks were. Do you guys know who is 31 and 32? Who were picks 31 and 32? Can you guys let me know in the chat? Mr. Football, nice to see you again, man. Casey Concepcion had yards after catch skills. Yeah, I mean, that's good. That's great. Real Raps with a $10 dono. Thank you so much, man. Happy to support the channel. Appreciate you, bro. Go Browns. Thank you, Real Raps. I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for the support. You guys are awesome. Mr. Football says, but yeah, I think we needed Boston. Like, I like the Fano pick. I agree. I am the same way. Omar Cooper would have been a better pick. Yeah. You're going to have to kind of tell yourself that Casey Concepcion is going to be better than Omar Cooper. He's going to be better than Mekhi Lemon. He's going to be better than Denzel Boston. That's essentially what the Browns are thinking right now. I just don't understand that logic. I just don't. I think Boston would have been a lot better. I think Mekhi Lemon would have been a lot better. I think Omar Cooper would have been a lot better. I'm not that high on Casey Concepcion, especially at 24. I thought 24 even months ago, I thought 24 was way too high. 39, maybe. I would have been fine with 39, but 24, when you still had guys like Boston on the board, yeah, no, I just did not like that. Parmesan against his, yeah, I think I read that, my bad. Titans traded up for Falk, and then Seahawks took the other Notre Dame running back. Okay, so, all right. So if that's the case, then the Browns have a couple guys here still on the board. So Denzel Boston's still on the board. Chris Bell's still on the board. Jeremy Bernard on the board. One of the guys that I really, really, really want, right? The guys that I'm really, really rooting for, I really am interested to see if the Browns can go after this guy, is Antonio Williams from Clemson. Now, if you guys have not heard, because nobody's really been talking about Antonio Williams, at least from what I've been watching and reading in that, nobody's been talking about Antonio Williams. 5'11" out of Clemson. Awesome production in 2024. Has a little bit of an injury history, but he is a guy that was a first-round consensus talent at the beginning of the year. People thought he was going to be a first-round pick today. People thought he was going to be picked today at the beginning of the year, last year, okay? He is a guy that, yes, the injuries are a little bit concerning, but he has first-round talent all over him. He is a guy that could go up and get you the ball, limited drops. He's a little bit quick, but again, it's just he sort of has like that Jordan Tyson effect where it's just the injuries concern you. He is a guy that I would be looking for in the second round, maybe in the third round. I don't know. But you got guys like him. You got, like I said, Chris Bell's still there. Denzel Boston's still there. Jeremy Bernard's still there. Elijah Surratt is still there. So there's a couple guys here. Skylar Bell maybe in the third round or so. There's still a couple of receivers that are still out here that are really good. I think the Browns can definitely use. Other guys that are on the offensive line that I really like. Chase Bazantis from Texas A&M, the guard. Awesome player. Really like him. Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. Oregon. Awesome player. Really like him. I think that there are a couple guys out here that are still on the board that I think can be very, very good for the Cleveland Browns. And I just think they need to just take that shot. I definitely think they just need to take a shot on one of these guys. Again, I just think that the Casey Concepcion pick, you're going to have to try and convince me on that one. Mr. Football again says, I think the rumor is because Boston didn't run the 40, teams are passing up on him. I mean, I guess. Didn't he have a leg injury? If I'm not mistaken, I think there was a leg injury with Denzel Boston. But again, I would have rather had him over Casey Concepcion. Okay, let's go on. I have Twitter pulled up here. We can go and look at some new updates as we get going here. There's just so much stuff that just happened. I want to go to that Zach Jackson article, actually, or Zach Jackson report, talking about the Proctor situation. Gotta find it. But the whole thing about Proctor, or not Proctor, Fano, apparently Fano was the first guy that was in the building for those 30 visits. Those, when they have the 30 prospects that they really like coming to the building. Apparently Fano was the first guy that they were interested in. And apparently he drove in from the Combine to Cleveland the day after the Combine, or the day of the Combine. But so apparently the Browns were really high on him at first. Nobody reported it. Nobody reported that they were, really high on him. Yeah, here's the day from Mikey McNuggets. Shout out to Mikey. He's awesome. Per Akron Jackson, it came down to Fano and Proctor for the Browns at number 6. Were able to still get their guy after the trade down. Fano was the team's first top 30 visit. He drove straight from Indy to Cleveland after the Combine. AB and Munkin wanted Fano, and they got their guy. So again, that is an interesting little nugget right there. That's an interesting nugget because, for the longest time, we didn't really know who the Browns were going to take. That was like the longest time. Everybody had no clue who the Browns were going to take. Some people thought they were going to take, a wide receiver. Really, Spencer Fano, I feel like, was a kind of an afterthought. It felt like nobody really thought Spencer Fano was going to be the guy. I feel like a lot of people more so thought that it was going to be Carnell Tate or Jordan Tyson at 6. But I thought this was just an interesting story because I had never heard about this. Nobody I talked to told me this. I just thought it was a cool story. But yeah, we got to see what else is going on here. So, Casey Concepcion struggled with stuttering his entire time. Apparently, the Browns were just so enamored with him. I got to see more of the story about, why they went with Casey Concepcion. Me at the home opener passing out beers to my Puerto Rican friends in the media lot. Again, yeah, if you guys have not followed Gabe, he's on 92.3 The Fan. He's on the morning show with Ken Carmen and stuff like that. He calls in, makes jokes. Awesome guy. Here's Sleeper NFL. Browns expected offense. Shador Sanders, Quinshon Judkins, Casey Concepcion, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Harold Fannin Jr. Again, you had to come in here trying to get a number 1 receiver. You got to get more. I'm hoping that they're not done. I'm really hoping they're not done. You cannot have this as your receiving core. It's a good start. You cannot go out there with that. So let's all hope that Andrew Berry has something more in mind, huh? But that's just me. All right. But like I said, the Browns, I would say if I had a grade for the Browns before the Casey Concepcion pick, I would say I would probably give them an A. For the Fano pick, I would definitely give them an A. With the Casey Concepcion pick, I'd probably give that a C. I am not, like I said, I'm not a Concepcion guy. Not a big fan of him. So if I had to give a grade right now for Casey Concepcion, Spencer Fano, the whole grade for the Browns the first round, I'm giving them a B. And again, like I said before, I'll keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. The Fano pick, the trade, awesome. Loved it. Everything was great. It's just the Casey Concepcion pick, you're going to have to convince me more. I just do not understand that. But yeah, we got more stuff going on here. Titans trade up to number 31. Bills traded back 3 times. That's crazy. That is crazy. Again, you got more Caden Proctor propaganda. Let's talk Browns. They're usually pretty active on social media. Explain. Browns take Fano, who played right tackle at Utah at a very high level. And yes, I know he played left tackle early on, to move him to left tackle. Patriots take Utah's left tackle and are moving him to right tackle. I didn't know they were moving him to right tackle. So they're still going to use Will Campbell as the left tackle, huh? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. But yeah, like I said, I'm just, you're going to have to convince me with it. You're just going to have to convince me with Casey Concepcion. Now, as I said before, they have an opportunity here right now to, let me get this fixed. They have an opportunity right now to really improve my overall feeling tomorrow. Like I said, there's so many guys who are out there right now. Chris Bell, Denzel Boston, Elijah Surratt, Antonio Williams, Zachariah Branch, Skylar Bell. I mean, that's 6 guys right there. Jeremy Bernard, 7. I mean, there's so many guys that are out there that can instantly provide a lot of quality talent for this receiving core. Then you also have on the offensive line, you got Bazantis is there, you got Pregnon is there. I mean, there's a couple guys that are still out there on the offensive line that you can go after. Obviously, they're not comfortable with DeJuan Jones starting, so you're probably going to have DeJuan be the swing tackle. There's a lot of stuff that they can do tomorrow that can change my mind. But they just got to do it. They got. I just want to know who they. I just want to know who they like. That's what I want to know, because we don't know who they like. There's no like. That's the frustrating part about covering the Browns sometimes, especially with like the Andrew Berry era and like the Kevin Stefanski era, is that you're trying to cover news, and it's so hard to like pick up pieces of like what's actually true, because they don't tell you shit. They don't tell you anything. And it's like you have to kind of like make educated guesses, and sometimes you look like a fucking buffoon. That's what I hate. I hate doing that. I just want to know, who do you guys like? Who do you like? Who do you like? So, do they like Denzel Boston? They didn't take him at 24. Do they like him more at 39? Do they like one of these other guys like Surratt or Chris Bell or something like that? Now, out of those guys that I mentioned, those 7 guys, I probably would be more hesitant to get a guy like Chris Bell. Now, I understand he's big. He's an outside receiver, very good when he was healthy. Tore his ACL. He's coming off of a major injury. Do the Browns like him at 39 and try and get him? Again, when he was healthy, he was a consensus first-round talent. Maybe that seems like an Andrew Berry pick to me. Like a guy who is, oh, wow, a lot of these guys thought he would be a first-round pick if he was healthy. So, I don't know. But that's just me. But anyways, those are my quick thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the chat below. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. I know it's a short stream. We're only going to be out here for a couple more minutes. But I wanted to give my quick thoughts as I have them right now. I'll probably make a video later on today and then upload it later on. But yeah, if you guys have anything else to say in the chat, thank you guys so much. Real Raps, again, thank you, man, so much for the donation. You are awesome. For the $9.99 super chat, you guys are awesome. Caden says Emerson's still out there in free agency. Yeah, he's coming off of an Achilles injury. You're going to. He's coming off of an Achilles injury. He's going to be slower. He didn't really necessarily have a great year before he got hurt anyway. I mean, if anything, he's probably going to get taken on as like a nickel corner maybe. I just don't see him being a starter. Maybe a rotational piece. But before the injury, there was maybe he could have started somewhere. I just don't know now, especially after the injury. Saw he was meeting with the Texans, but I didn't see a deal done. I haven't seen anything. I didn't even know he met with the Texans. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know he met with the Texans. But Yeah, I just don't think he's going to really do anything, really. Because, again, he's coming off the Achilles injury, major injury. He's, what, 28 now? 29? He's been in the league for, what, 7 years? No, 5 years? So he's got to be, what, 28, 27? Again, coming off of a major injury like that, I don't see him starting anywhere. I just don't. And if the Browns, maybe could they come back, and I don't think they'll re-sign him because of that injury. I was thinking more rotational role, of course, might be the move if you can get him cheap. Maybe. I just don't think he's going to be a starter. He's going to be a rotational guy. The MJ Emerson, whatever the nickname was in 2023, like the MJ Island, that's no more. He's not going to be that guy. Kid Wilson says, how are you feeling about round one? Well, like I said, what do you call it? Round one, I would probably say I give it a B. I think the Fano trade and the pick for Fano was awesome. I loved it. I thought it was great. You move down 3 spots, you get an extra 2 picks. I thought it was a fantastic move by Andrew Berry. The Casey Concepcion pick, I do not like it. I think it's a C. You're going to have to convince me with Casey Concepcion. I do not really, I didn't really like him before the draft started. I said that the 2 players I did not want the Browns to draft were Caden Proctor and Casey Concepcion. They drafted Casey Concepcion. He's going to have a lot of drops issues. I think he's going to be, maybe if he plays up to his potential, he's a very good number 2 to number 3 receiver. But the Browns came into this draft needing a number 1 receiver, and they had an opportunity to get a guy like Denzel Boston. Now they still do because he hasn't been taken yet. You also had an opportunity to maybe trade up from 24 to 20 to get Mekhi Lemon, because the Steelers apparently, by reports, were super interested and were talking to Mekhi Lemon. Basically, almost had the deal done to take him, and then the Eagles came in at the last second to snag Mekhi Lemon. So that's my thing. I give an overall grade of a B. Love the Fano trade. Love the Fano pick. You're going to have to convince me about Casey Concepcion. Mr. Football says, not to mention Ward will still be retiring soon. He has hurt a lot lately. Yeah, I mean, he's been hurt. He's been hurt his entire career. He's just very slender. He's very slim. But those concussions concern me. And I would not be shocked. I mean, I hate saying it. I would not be shocked if he gets another concussion in training camp or something. I don't know if it's the way he's tackling. I don't know if it's his size. I don't know. But the concussions concern me. I think, he said before that he doesn't think it's a problem. I mean, at some point, man, you're going to have to say, like, yeah, enough is enough, Kid Wilson again says, I went and watched KC highlights and I don't see what's so special about him. I hope he pans out. I hope he does too. Like I said, he's going to be a slot guy. Maybe could he be like a Cole Beasley? I hope. Maybe. Let's see. But you're going to have to convince me. He had a lot of drops issues in college. He's a good returner. But again, we've seen how this pans out in the NFL. Some of these guys who are more athletic in college, it ain't that way in the NFL, man. Everybody's as athletic as you. That's the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. I hope it works out, but I don't really have a lot of faith. Caden says concussions have been adding up for Ward, but he's going to have some insane CTE later in life. I hope not, but I mean, I think he's had 7 or 8 concussions just in the NFL. I don't know how many he's had in his entire football career. It's going to have to be more, right? So I just, that's why I think, you have D'Angelo Pons is still there at 39. Do you go D'Angelo Pons? Do you go with a defensive back? There's a possibility you can do that. And then you can go after a wide receiver at 70 because you have pick 70. That's your other pick. There's still a lot of guys, like I said, 7 guys who are receivers that are still out here in day 2 that the Browns can go out there that I think can be very good players. I've said I'm not really high on Chris Bell just because of the ACL injury. I don't know how that's going to affect his his explosiveness, but he's that prototypical 6'3", 250 215, 210-pound guy, outside receiver, that if he's healthy and if he's playing at the high level, he's going to be very, very good. So that's another guy I'm interested in seeing. But one of the guys that I'm really high on, like I said before earlier, is Antonio Williams from Clemson. That's a guy that I would be very much interested in seeing the Browns take. Kid Wilson says, we went 3 years with no first rounders, so I guess we should be happy to get some high-level talent at least. Yeah, that's fair. That's a good way to look at it. And the fun fact about the Casey Concepcion pick is that they showed it on ESPN. I don't know if you guys watched ESPN or NFL Network, but that the Casey Concepcion pick was the last pick in the Travis Hunter trade. So the Browns got Mason Graham, Quinshon Judkins, Dylan Sampson, and Casey Concepcion for Travis Hunter. Now I think probably I would say Mason Graham, great. Quinshon Judkins, great. Dylan Sampson had some moments. I think it's still a work in progress, and we'll see. And then Casey Concepcion, again, not really high on him, but we'll see how it goes. But those are the 4 guys that you get back in exchange for Travis Hunter, who is now a full-time defensive back. So I think it was an awesome trade. Again, still an awesome trade by Andrew Berry for that. Caden says, any good linebackers in the second round? I feel that might be a need, especially after losing Bush. I'm trying to think, really. I mean, you still have, R. Mason Thomas is still there, but he's more of an edge. I really haven't taken a look here at who the linebacking, who's left at linebacker. Let me see here, actually. Linebackers for NFL draft. But yeah, I really haven't seen any. I mean, Carter Rodriguez is still there. Let's see here. This is all, what do you call it? This is all, oh my God, Mel Kiper. So Sonny Styles is gone. C.J. Allen from Georgia, he's still on the board. Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. Now, he's a guy that I would be interested in. He was part of that awesome Texas Tech defense. Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas, he's another good guy. And Josiah Trotter from Missouri. Yeah, there's a lot of these guys. I'm looking at all these guys. So it's like Mel Kiper, Miller, Reed, Field Yates. It's essentially Jake Golday from Cincinnati. He's another guy that's pretty interesting. But yeah, those are pretty much the top guys. But I really don't think the Browns are going to do anything with linebacker, if I'm honest, Caden. I don't think they're going to really do anything. Kid Wilson says, not a bad haul when you look at it that way. No, it's not. It's not that terrible. Caden says, Andrew Berry masterclass with a Hunter trade. Yeah, it was awesome. It was a great trade by Andrew. Again, Hunter, unfortunately, you don't want to root for injury. Him tearing his ACL in last year was, I hate to say it, it was great for the Browns. And, him going, struggling last year with being a receiver and a defensive back, the Jaguars not really figuring it out where they could put him, or at least where to stick him primarily, whether to make him a full-time receiver or more of a receiver and more of a defensive back. They couldn't really figure it out last year, which was a lot of people's issue with drafting Hunter, was because a lot of people were like, how are you going to figure out where to put him, because he plays both sides of the ball? And Jacksonville ran into that problem. So, again, now they made him a full-time defensive back. Great trade from Andrew Berry's perspective. Mr. Football, again, says, surprise to me was Arizona selecting Love at the 3rd pick. Thought that was kind of high. I don't think it was high. I think Jeremiah Love is going to be an awesome running back and football player for anybody. I thought anybody who drafted him was going to be getting an awesome player. I thought Tennessee was going to draft him. And I think they probably were. I kind of want to see if there was any reports about the Titans wanted Jeremiah Love, but then they decided to go with Carnell Tate instead. But yeah, I think Jeremiah Love is going to be awesome. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He can do pretty much anything on the football field. You can line him up as a running back. You can put him in the slot as a receiver. He can catch the ball. He can run the ball. He's basically do it all for you out of the backfield. And honestly, I would not have been mad if the Browns took Jeremiah Love and you had a Jeremiah Love and Quinshot Judkins backfield. Oh my God. You could have had, I mean, that's just nuts. Now, he's probably still needed an offensive lineman. A lot of the offensive linemen, as we were told before the draft started, went in the teens in the first round. So the Browns had their first pick. They took Spencer Fano. But yeah, I would not. I'm a big believer in Jeremiah Love. I think he's going to be awesome. Caden again says, I know we signed that All-Pro Jets linebacker, but from what I've heard, he's only had one really good year and has been regressing ever since. Yeah, he's sort of like, okay, he's good. He's not great. He had that All-Pro year. He's still really good, though. And again, I would have liked Devin Bush to be back with the Browns. I would have liked that. But, you know, it is what it is at this point. You can't really, you can't really, do anything. We just didn't have the cap space. That's the issue. We just didn't have the cap space. Sorry, guys, 1 second. But yeah, I think we just needed, I'm trying to think of the word here. I'm not mad with having Quincy Williams as the linebacker replacing Devin Bush. I'm not mad at it. Because again, with Devin Bush too, he only had one good year. Last year was his first good year in the league, right? So again, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. I'm not. All right, guys, make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream, okay? Please hit the like button. Help us out in the algorithm. If you have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. Please smash the like button. Help us out in the algorithm. Real Raps again, 17. Real Raps 17. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat early in the show. Make sure you guys, if you guys have buddies who are sports fans, Browns fans, whatever, share this channel with them too. We're trying to get as many people here on the channel as possible. We're trying to grow the community as big as we can. I got a lot of different projects that are in the works that I am very excited about doing. I want to get more people who I know onto the channel so that we can do stuff. Because I have a lot of different ideas and projects I want to do. So, but if you guys please hit the like button. We're up to 3 likes on the stream. We got 10 people watching right now. At least it says 10 people watching, so there's more people. Let's get up to 6 likes. Let's get up to 6 likes here in the chat or in the stream. Let's see, we still have 3. Let's get up to 6 likes. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We're still going to be talking about the Cleveland Browns here, reacting to the picks. It's been an awesome stream. Okay. But let me know what you guys think down in the chat. Who do you guys want the Browns to draft tomorrow? What are the positions that you guys want the Browns to draft? Do you guys want them to go with a receiver? Do you guys want them to go with offensive line? Do you guys want them to go with a cornerback? Do you guys want like a D'Angelo Pons? Do you want a safety? Who do you guys want the Browns to draft tomorrow? Thank you so much. We're up to 4 likes right now. Let's get up to 5. Need one more person to hit the like button. But who do you guys want the Browns to draft tomorrow? Let me know in the chat. Personally, I would probably go with, if I had to pick, if there was a guy, 2 guys that I want tomorrow, I would be really excited if the Browns got Chase Bizantis at 39 or D'Angelo Pons. Hey, we hit 5 likes. Let's go, everybody. Thank you guys so much. If we get D'Angelo Pons or Chase Bizantis at 39, super excited. Super happy about that. Pick number 70 in the 3rd round. If we can get Antonio Williams, I would be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic. That way you got Bizantis, you got a guard, an awesome guard, a guy who can plug and play. If there's a guy that gets hurt, Chase Bizantis is right there. He has experience. Basically like a Joel Bitonio in college. Plug and play right there at left guard. And you get Antonio Williams, guy who's in 1st round talent territory. Awesome player. I think you get him or Jeremy Bernard. I am a big Jeremy Bernard fan as well. I think he's like a Jarvis Landry, like clone, in my opinion. I think he's a very, very good player. Blue Man Rule says David Boston would be great. I would agree with that. Yeter Freed again says Boston would be huge, but really just best available offensive lineman. Okay. Can never have enough offensive line depth. I agree with that. Caden. Like I said, Bazantis, I think at 39 would be awesome. And then, Antonio Williams, Jeremy Bernard, even Elijah Surratt, I think would be very good. Mr. Football says I wouldn't mind Pons. I agree. I would love Pons as well. I made a mock draft on. I put it on my Twitter. You guys can go follow me at Warren Bench here at the bottom of your screen. I made a mock draft and I put it on my Twitter. I tagged Tyvis Powell because I had the Browns taking D'Angelo Pons at 39. I know Tyvis Powell is a huge D'Angelo Pons believer. But yeah, my one buddy Noah, you guys could follow at the office. My buddy Noah, him and I were talking, and he's going on about how him and his buddy Eric, his co-host Eric, were talking and making a mock draft, and his buddy Eric had the funniest mock draft I ever seen. They were talking about it on their stream earlier today. They're talking about the Browns had taken Ty Simpson with number 20, pick number 20 because they traded back with the Cowboys. They took Ty Simpson at 20, and then in like the fourth round, they trade with the Colts to take Anthony Richardson. So the Browns would have taken Anthony Richardson and Ty Simpson in this draft. That was the funniest mock draft I think I've ever seen. I'm sorry to shout you or to call you out, Eric, but that was funny, dude. I'm sorry. You guys were talking about it on your stream. It was fucking hilarious. And you guys were talking about it it's like, oh, I think he's actually thinking that, because I said I would go insane if that happened. He's like, I think he's actually being positive about that. I think he was joking, but still. But yeah, no, if that would have happened, I would have lost my mind. But yeah, no, again, going back to what I've said, Chase Bazantis, 39. D'Angelo Pons, 39. Very happy. Antonio Williams, Jeremy Bernard, number 70. Maybe even Skylar Bell. I think Skylar Bell is a little bit of a up and down guy. I think he's very old. He's like 24, coming off transfer from Wisconsin to UConn. But those are the guys that I am very much interested in for the Cleveland Browns tomorrow. Once again, guys, let me know in the chat who you guys want the Browns to draft tomorrow, and make sure you guys smash the like button. We're still at 5 likes. We have 8 people in the stream right now. Make sure you guys hit the like button. I know it's late, but help us out in the algorithm. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button yet, hit the subscribe button. Once again, I'll keep shouting it out. Real Rap 17, thank you so much for the dono. You are awesome. All of you guys are awesome. And we'll be getting out of here in a few minutes, but we just want to keep talking about the Browns. Moving on, Casey Concepcion, Spencer Fano, round 1, round 2 tomorrow. I'll be having more content out tomorrow. I'll be putting out a video reacting to the Fano and to the Fano and Concepcion pick. Sorry, guys. But reacting to that, and we'll be talking about who I want in round 2 and round 3 for day 2 of the 2026 draft. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. You guys are not going to want to miss the content I'm going to be putting out here tomorrow. We're also going to be doing a lot of stuff on my TikTok at BenchwarmerSports_. I've been absolutely having a lot of fun with the TikTok lately. We had, I think, one TikTok, my Browns fan TikTok had hit over 175,000 views on TikTok. So you guys, if you have not followed me on TikTok, make sure you guys do that because we are having a lot of fun over there. Almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok over there. So make sure you guys follow me at BenchwarmerSports_. If you guys are on TikTok, you guys are definitely going to want to, not want to miss all the content that I'm putting out over there. But yeah, everybody, make sure you guys hit the like button. Still at 5 likes. Let me know who you guys want in the chat for day 2. In round 2, round 3, we got Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard, Antonio Williams. There's so many guys that I am very excited about that the Browns can take. Personally, again, like I said, I do want offensive linemen and a wide receiver. I think you probably do need to go with a big body receiver, though. I don't know if the Browns will cut Cedric Tillman. this has to be the last year for Cedric Tillman, right? Like, you guys have to believe this is the last year for Cedric Tillman, right? Again, going back to 2023, I did not want Cedric Tillman. I did not want him. I wanted George Pickens or Christian Watson. Many people wanted Jalen Hyatt. That was another guy that I was interested in. This has to be the last year for Cedric Tillman. If he is not healthy, if he does not stay healthy, there's no point, right? There's just no point. You cannot have Cedric Tillman on this team as your wide receiver 2 or 3. You just can't. I think Concepcion's probably going to take over their wide receiver 2 role. But even still, if you have a receiving core of Judy, Concepcion, and Isaiah Bond, that's not good enough. And I'm interested to see if the Browns take a tight end tomorrow, too, in the 3rd round. I'm interested to see. Maybe do they take Cade Stowers in the 4th round on Saturday? That's a possibility too. But I just think you're going to have to think down the road here. To me, you just cannot rely on Cedric Tillman. I can't do another year of Cedric Tillman because it's the same storyline with Cedric Tillman. He's always either does like 1 or 2 weeks of like really good production and you're like, oh, there's something there with a guy. And then he gets hurt for 4 or 5 weeks and then you don't hear from him, you don't see him. And then that's the way she goes, right? So, again, the Browns need to get somebody that I can say is going to be a Cedric Tillman replacer, especially on the outside of the ball. Now, could that be Chris Bell tomorrow? Maybe. Could that be Elijah Surratt from Indiana? I'd be way more willing to give Surratt an opportunity than Chris Bell just because of the lack of injuries. And Elijah Surratt is another guy that I'm interested in because he has downright been a dog ever since he was at James Madison with Cignetti. He was at James Madison with Cignetti, made a lot of awesome plays for James Madison. Worked his ass off I keep saying at Cignetti. Worked his ass off at James Madison. Played up to an awesome standard. Went to Indiana with Cignetti. Still produced, even with another guy like Omar Cooper, who was a first-round talent. Awesome player. He's another guy that I would say, hey, you know what? The Browns take him. Would not be upset. I would not be upset at all if the Browns did that. But again, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Antonio Williams. He's a guy that I would be really interested in. The other guy that got a lot of smoke, I don't know if you guys, how do you guys feel about Zachariah Branch? Now, I don't think he's probably not going to get taken just because of how the Browns took Casey Concepcion. But he was another guy that I felt like everybody in like January and early February was like, oh, Zachariah Branch has to be the guy. Another guy that we haven't talked about, I just remembered, Jacoby Lane from USC, outside receiver, big stocky guy, was teammates with Zachariah Branch. He's another guy that could be on the board. So there's 8 guys instead of 7. There's 8 guys. There's 8 receivers. I totally forgot about Jacoby Lane. That's my bad. There's been so many guys that are just out here. So there's a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different guys that the Browns can go after tomorrow. But Mr. Football says 2nd and 3rd round will have huge potential to find some gems. I agree. There's a lot of different guys. Like I said, there's 8 guys now. Instead of 7 or 6, there's 8 guys that I just remembered off the top of my head who are receivers who the Browns can absolutely go after tomorrow. Caden says day 2 of the draft, always fun until your team drafts Dylan Gabriel the 3rd round. I still remember. Oh my God. I could not believe my eyes. I thought it was a joke. I seriously thought it was a joke when I saw that headline, that notification pop up on my phone that the Browns were going to take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round. I nearly screamed my head off. I nearly did. That was the most dumb draft pick I have seen the Browns do in quite some time. That was nuts. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much. We're 2 likes away from hitting 10 likes on the stream. If you guys have not hit the like button, hit the like button. We're at 8 likes. Let's get to 10 likes. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. I know we're almost hitting midnight here. We won't be on for too much longer. But thank you guys so much. We're 2 likes away from hitting 10 likes. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you have not hit the like button. Caden says Herb Branch got arrested for something. Okay. So, if you don't know anything about what happened with Zachariah Branch, he was arrested for the most dumb thing possible. Not his fault, by the way. It's not his fault. It's this cop's fault. The cop asked Zachariah Branch, I'm trying to remember correctly, he asked Zachariah Branch to move off of a sidewalk. Zachariah Branch was like talking to somebody, or he was doing something with somebody, and Zachariah Branch didn't move off the sidewalk. And the cop arrested Zachariah Branch for failing to heed orders from a cop. That's why Zachariah Branch got arrested, for standing on a sidewalk. So, if you guys hear anything about, oh, Zachariah Branch got arrested, we shouldn't take him. He got arrested because a cop told him to move off of a sidewalk, and either he forgot or he was just like talking to somebody and was like, oh, okay, it's a sidewalk. So a cop got a power trip and arrested Zachariah Branch for standing on a sidewalk. I'm not going to hold Zachariah Branch to, for being arrested because some cop had a power trip. So now let's see here. Here I'm looking on Dogs 247. This is from 247 Sports. Here, let me see if I can pull it up for you guys here. But yeah, no, do not. If you hear people say, "Oh, we can't draft Zachariah Branch because he got arrested," yeah, here, hold on. This is insane. Sorry, guys. I don't know why Streamlabs is like this, but here we go. So here we go. Per the report, the reporting officer was in the area of Cloud Bar on Clayton Street. Let me probably not read this. Cloud Bar on Clayton Street at approximately 12:18 a.m. when a large crowd was blocking the entrance and exit of the bar as well as adjacent businesses. The officer noted the crowd pushed forward in an attempt to gain access to the bar. Per the report, Cloud Bar was in the process of closing for the night and was not letting any additional individuals inside, while officers attempted to clear the sidewalk to reduce the crowd and allow individuals to leave the bar. The reporting officer stated, I observed a male engaging in a physical altercation with the bouncer of the adjacent bar, General Beauregard's, by shoving a bouncer with both hands. The man's actions led the reporting officer to believe he was engaging in a fight so as to endanger the life, limb, health, or property of another. At that point, the individual was placed under arrest and cited for disorderly conduct. So again, it says the reporting officer stated that he escorted the man out of the crowd and to the transport van, then returned to the entrance of Cloud Bar to continue assisting the clearing of the sidewalk. The officer wrote that he then gave multiple verbal commands for individuals to move from the sidewalk. Per the report, so again, an issue with journalism here is that they're bearing the lead, basically saying that, they think that, Zachariah Branch was the one who shoved the guy. No, he wasn't the guy who shoved the bouncer. Per the report, a male, later identified as Branch, continued to stand on the sidewalk without making an attempt to move. So I don't know why they're burying the lead that he was the guy that shoved the bouncer. He's not. Some guy, some idiot, shoved the bouncer of the bar. Cops were telling everybody to leave. Zachariah Branch was standing on a sidewalk talking to somebody or something. They don't say like what he was doing. They said he was standing there. I continued to give Zachariah Branch verbal commands to move from blocking the sidewalk and advised that if he did not, he would receive a citation for blocking the sidewalk. Zachariah Branch smirked and stepped backwards and to the right and then remained standing upon the sidewalk so as to obstruct and hinder and impede free passage upon the sidewalk as well as impede free and egress to or from the adjacent places of business. So, again, they're saying basically that he continued to stand on a sidewalk and so then he got arrested. Due to these actions, Zachariah Branch has failed to comply with multiple verbal lawful commands. He was placed under arrest for misdemeanor obstruction of LEO, law enforcement officer, and received a citation for obstructing public sidewalks. Branch and the other man were then transported to the Athens County Clark County Jail. The officer ended his report by noting that he reviewed camera footage from the area and found that the first man was blocking the entrance, blah, 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 blah. Again, he stood on a sidewalk. He stood on a sidewalk and he got arrested. So, again, guys, I'm going to tell you this again. If you hear people say we should not draft Zachariah Branch because he got arrested, it's because he got arrested for standing on a sidewalk. Now, yes, should he have gotten off the sidewalk when a cop tells you to get off the sidewalk? Yes. But are you seriously going to say that the guy should have been arrested for standing on a sidewalk? Okay, so you could say he's being a dick. He's being an asshole. Fair enough. Not a crime. Not a crime. So it just pissed me off when you see, and again, I hate how that article buries the lead, man. Buries the lead. It's like he didn't push the bouncer. He stood on a sidewalk. Cop told him to leave. So again, I am not going to be a guy who says you cannot draft Zachariah Branch because he gets arrested. No. If the Browns want to draft Zachariah Branch, draft Zachariah Branch. He's a quick twitch guy. I don't think you draft him now because of, you drafted Casey Concepcion. But again, so sorry for the rant, but Caden, you said that. I have to tell people this is what happened. He got arrested for standing on a sidewalk. That's what happened. And yes, he should have listened to the cops saying get off the sidewalk. Fair enough. Get off the sidewalk. Don't make it more difficult than it has to be. Also, it's 1 a.m, man. Do you really need to arrest the guy for not getting off the sidewalk? Write him a citation. Tell him to pay it. Go to court. Pay the ticket, whatever. Boom, bang, you're done. So that's all I got to say about Zachariah Branch. Once again, guys, we got 10 people in the chat. If you guys have not hit the like button, please do so. We're 2 likes away from 10 likes on the stream. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Subscribe if you guys have not hit the subscribe button. Kaden says, no, this is good to know. I had no idea, LMAO. Yeah, I know. Again, if you guys have not heard the story about Zachariah Branch, I had to say that because it's just so stupid. And I'm sure there's going to be more people that say, hey, we shouldn't draft Zachariah Branch, or Zachariah Branch is a head case or whatever. No, he got arrested for standing on a sidewalk. So yeah, the Browns can draft him all they want, or anybody can draft him. Let's see, we're at 9 likes. Hit one more like. We need one more like to hit 10 likes. We have 10 people in the chat. We should get 10 likes. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. We're about to hit midnight here in 2 minutes. Excuse me. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. Once again, Real Rap 17. Thank you for the $10 dono. You are awesome, my man. Once again, guys, hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. We'll be getting out here in just a second here. But once again, we got 9 likes. We just need one more like. If you guys have not hit the like button, do so now. So once again, who are we going to get tomorrow? Who should we get tomorrow? I think Bazantis is up there. Emmanuel Pregnon is up there. I really would like those two. Those are probably the top 2 interior offensive linemen that I'm interested in right now. Maybe Connor Lew from Auburn. He's a center. Very good, very underrated. He could probably maybe go in the 3rd round if the Browns decide to go with a D'Angelo Pond or a receiver at 39. And like I said before, we got 8 receivers that are still available that I think can be very, very good. Jacoby Lane, I just mentioned. Antonio Williams, Elijah Surratt, Chris Bell, Denzel Boston, Jeremy Bernard. There's so many guys. It's 6 right there. Zachariah Branch, 7. There's so many different guys that are still available. Skylar Bell. There's so many guys that are available still on the board for the Browns. And then maybe if you want to put in Malachi Fields from Notre Dame, I think it's a little bit high in a reach to get him tomorrow in the second or third round. I think it's very much a reach to get him in the second round, but third round still a reach. If you can get him day 3 in like the 5th round, Malachi Fields showed out at the Senior Bowl. He's an outside big body receiver. I think he's 6'4", not fast at all. He's pretty slow. Doesn't create that great separation, but he's still very, very good. And we hit 10 likes on the stream. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for the support tonight. You guys are awesome. KMC8879 says, it's funny at the Combine, Fano was interviewed and he echoed what the Browns said they wanted. I'm not surprised. Again, I don't think it was a secret that the Browns were one of the teams that needed desperately offensive line help. And I think, we've heard reports that Fano was the first guy that was their 30-man visit. He was the first guy that they wanted to visit. And he drove from Indianapolis to Berea to meet with the Browns, and the Browns fell in love with him. And you know what? Fair play, man. You meet with him the first time, you fall in love with him, you're that enamored with him, you're able to get him and get 2 extra picks out of it, you move back 3 spots. Again, I say that whole trade, that pick, the trade, A+ by Andrew Berry. But yeah, I think it was an awesome trade for Fano, an awesome pick for Fano. And again, there's just so many different guys that are available still that the Browns can take, and I think it would make me feel a lot better after the Concepcion pick. And I think, honestly, I'll be honest here, with the way that the draft played out after the Concepcion pick, I think the Browns lucked into having more options in the second round, in the third round, than they could have ever imagined. Because a lot of these guys took defensive players. There's still a lot of great offensive talent that's still available, and I keep saying it, but there's a lot of great wide receiver talent still available. There's a couple good interior offensive linemen that are still available. The Browns have a lot of different guys they can pick from tomorrow, and they have an opportunity to make me feel better. I think a lot of people can feel a lot better with the way that the Concepcion thing happened, because I feel like a lot more people were happy about the Fano pick than the people who are happy about the Concepcion pick. Maybe I'm wrong. From what I saw before I came on here today, there are a lot more people who were upset about the Concepcion pick than the Fano pick. But again, like I said, there's a lot more opportunities for the Browns to make me feel better, to make a lot of Browns fans feel better. If they just get one of these guys, probably a big body receiver like Surratt or Jacoby Lane or Chris Bell or Boston, I think those are the guys that I would target if I was Andrew Berry, because you got your speedster slot guy in Casey Concepcion. You got him. You got Isaiah Bond, who's another slot guy. You need a guy on the outside. I think you get one of those 4 guys. Like I said, Surratt, Jacoby Lane, who else did I say? Denzel Boston and Chris Bell. Those are the 4 guys that I would be looking at if I'm Browns fans right now. If as Browns fans, we need to be looking at. I definitely would be paying attention to those 4 guys, because I think you need outside receivers. You need X receivers right now. Cedric Tillman's not going to cut it. He's not going to cut it. You cannot rely on Cedric Tillman to stay healthy for you, to have him be your other outside receiver. It's not happening. So those are the 4 guys I would target. That's just me. Once again, guys, we'll probably get out here in just a second. Let me know if you guys have anything else to put down in the chat you guys want me to talk about or get my opinions on. Put it down in the chat right now. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. If you guys have not hit the like button, hit the like button on the stream. We have 10 likes right now. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button. Once again, thank you to RealRap17 for the donation. You are awesome. You guys are all awesome. Once again, we are at 12:04 a.m. We're over an hour here on the stream. If you guys want me to talk about anything, you guys want me to answer anything, put it down in the chat right now, or else, unless, you don't have anything else, we can get out of here. But put it down in the chat right now if you guys have anything else you want to say. Once again, we got a lot more content coming out tomorrow. You guys are not going to want to miss it, so stay tuned. Hit the notification bell if you guys are subscribed, because we got a lot more content coming out tomorrow regarding, round 1 of the draft, as well as round 2 of what the Browns should do. Once again, guys, follow me on X at WarmBench. Follow me on TikTok. All my links to my different platforms are down in the description of the stream. Make sure you guys go check all of those out as well. Yeah, so what do you call it? What else? We got anything else here? Mr. Football says, do you think we should trade Gabriel? Because I would. I think we should, but who would take him? That's the thing. You could try and trade him for a 7th round pick, but you got to find somebody who's willing to give you a 7th round pick for Dillon Gabriel. And as I showed in my video on the day 1 of the mini camp, make sure you guys go check that out if you guys want to watch see my thoughts about Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson. That's my newest video, my previous video. Dillon Gabriel was 3-6 with 2 interceptions. Not great. So, yeah, you're going to have to find somebody to trade you a 7th round pick or some pick for Dillon Gabriel. That's the thing. So, yes, do I think we should trade him? Obviously, yes. He's not going to be, he doesn't have a home here, in my opinion. You're going to have to find somebody. But that's the problem, is that who's going to want to trade for Dillon Gabriel? Could you trade him to Atlanta for a 7th round pick? Maybe. Does Kevin want him that bad? Does Kevin believe in Dillon Gabriel that bad? Who knows? Because then you could have an all-lefty quarterback room. With Tua Tagovailoa, you have him, you have Michael Penix, and then you have Dillon Gabriel. You'll have an all-southpaw quarterback room. Could be an interesting idea. All right. Anything else? Unifreeze is flipping a 3rd round pick for a 7th. God, that's bleak. Yeah, I know. Again, it's almost like everybody who said that before the draft last year said that was going to happen. Again, I saw people saying that even a 5th round pick, taking him in the 5th round, was a reach. I said I don't see him going in until the 6th or 7th round. I do not understand what Kevin was looking at. I really don't. I don't understand what Kevin was looking at. Kaden says, I guess if you got anything for him at all at this point, it's a win. I mean, yeah. I mean, he didn't show you anything in the preseason. He didn't show you anything in the regular season. He does not have a home here. He doesn't have a home here. You need to get rid of him. And I don't know, do the Browns, do they sign somebody later on in the offseason? Do they draft somebody later on in this draft? I have no idea, but you cannot have Dillon Gabriel out there. He's just not a 5'9", 10 quarterback is not good. He's not good enough. Especially with today's NFL, it's not good enough. So once again, Mr. Football's question. Yes, we should trade Gabriel, but who's going to want to trade for him? That's what you're going to have to ask yourself. Once again, guys, if you guys have not hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. If you guys have anything else you guys want me to answer in the chat, let me know. Put it down right now. Before we get out of here. We're at 12:08 a.m. Yeah, we'll be getting out of here in just a second. Once again, if you guys are staying up right now, I know it's a work night. What do you call it? I know it's a work night. Thank you guys so much for staying up with me, talking about the Browns. You guys are awesome. This is why you guys, I feel like you guys are the best and most loyal, sports community on YouTube. You guys are awesome. Yeet Free again says, Drew Aller picking the 5th round is going to hit like crack. See, this is where I think that there's going to be some team in the 3rd round that's going to overdraft him. I think there's going to be a guy that overdrafts him. I don't know if it's the Steelers, because they took Will Howard last year in the 5th round. I don't know if it's going to be the Dolphins. I don't know if it's going to be the Cardinals. I have no idea. But there's going to be a team, I think, in the mid-rounds here that are going to overdraft Drew Aller. And the thing about Drew Aller is that I think if he just gets some stuff under control, I think he could be a very decent quarterback. I don't think he's going to be top 5. I don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback, maybe not even top 15. But I think he has tools that you can work with to say, there's something there that you can say, hey, maybe a spot starter here or there. But he just has so much stuff. I think some of it and part of it is mental. I just think James Franklin absolutely destroyed him. I think James Franklin absolutely wrecked him. And I just think he also wrecked himself because he cannot win in big situations. I don't know if he just has the yips. I don't know what, but there's just something with him where he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it in big moments. So Drew Aller in the 5th round, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Okay, guys. Let's see. I think we'll probably end it there. It's 12:10 a.m. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I really appreciate you guys staying up with me. We hit about an hour, 15 minutes. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Once again, if you guys have not hit the like button, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. Real Rap 17, thank you so much for the $10 dono. You guys, once again, I'll keep saying it, you guys are the best Cleveland sports YouTube community out here. You guys are absolutely awesome. Once again, share this channel with your friends. There's so much content that's going to be coming out here tomorrow and the next couple of months as we get closer to the Browns season starting. We got so much stuff I got to cover with the Cavs, with the Guardians. There's so much stuff we're going to cover with other sports news as well. Make sure you guys follow me on my X account at Warren Bench. Follow me on my TikTok. All my links to my different social media platforms are down in the description. Make sure you guys check those out, especially my TikTok. We are blowing up and doing awesome things over there. You guys are definitely not going to want to miss what we're doing over on TikTok. Awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, guys, I will see you guys all tomorrow. We got a lot more stuff to talk about, a lot more content coming your way tomorrow. Hit the like button, help us out in the algorithm, subscribe if you are new. We're trying to get back to 1,400 subscribers. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow for more coming off the bench, more Benchwarmer Sports, and more talking about the Cleveland Browns in the NFL Draft. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good rest of your night. Sleep well. Thank you guys so much for watching.